We're live.
Yeah,
So today we have Chris Fritch from Minnesota here. Chris, you have a $85 million team in production. Is that where you have?
yeah,
That's
right
what I
around
thought.
there. Yeah.
Cool. And we have Lee Tessier. Lee has a ton of volume. What's your volume around approximately, Lee?
We'll be right around 150 million.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So two really, really rock star agents. Lee, I know Chris because of Lee Tessier. Lee Tessier is in Maryland, and Chris Fritch his team's in Minnesota. And Chris joined us how long ago, Chris?
April 1st.
April 1st.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. I forgot.
Yeah.
That was funny. I remember that was our joke back a few months ago.
Yeah.
So today we're just interviewing Chris about his business, and Lee's going to pop in with some great tips for you guys as well. And Lee, would you mind just sharing a little bit how you know Chris and how you guys have grown, known each other over the years and where your relationship started and how you ended up EXP and the whole deal?
Yeah, so quick background. I started coaching with Workman Success with Burl back in 2015. Chris and God, I'm like mind blank now with the A.
Allison.
Allison was like the tough nut of like who they wanted to coach with and so forth because they were going to coach through KW through MAPS. And they had asked me if I talked to Chris and Allison, so we had a conversation and gave him background on the team. And then I started coaching him. You guys were doing like $700,000 a year in gross commission at the time. Sound about right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So, and you, Tony, and Allison came out, did a workout with me and Cadre at the time, and then we started coaching and so forth. And then, fast forward to last year, you did 2.2 and change.
Yeah, a little more than that in GCI.
Gross commission. So in 6 years, we were looking at where, we're building. And so it was just fundamentals of stuff that we were going through. And of course, we were talking about where my business was to where we're going and so forth. And he came out and stayed with us another time in between for a conference, and we just become good friends. I was just out in Minnesota last month for St. Jude's golf tournament that he put on and had like 240 some golfers. And what was your final number? Did you raise like 60 grand or something?
That's not out yet, but it's somewhere
Pretty
about
significant, right. When they're at the dinner that night of who wants to donate 5,000 to St. Jude's and so forth, and you had some participants and the 5,000 to 2,500,000 and so forth. But great turnout, great cause. That's more important than anything. And he had been asking me to come out for a few years, and Josh had said to me, "We need to go this year. Like here he's supporting us, we need to support him." So it was a really good event. But I look at the friendship that we've made over the years, and then when I made the change in January, well, actually when I joined in Florida, we had conversation through coaching, and then when I moved in January, moved my independent brokerage over. He started providing some questions before, like, "Hey, what do you think's going on? Is it worth making a change?" And we started making some looking under the covers, basically, when I was, in the Florida market. So it's been, a really good change for us. We moved in January, and Chris, let's talk about you more so than anything. What's your thought process been? Because we when we talked about moving over, I think of some of the calls that we had with your team because everybody was concerned of, "Oh my God, we love our broker," and you were about like best friends with the broker.
Mm-hmm.
At the KW office, which made it hard too. So it was like, all right, what made you make the change, first of all?
I guess just the business model itself, abilities for the world to go into and get your stuff done and whatnot. It's just a cloud-based company. I think if anything in the last year and a half, 2 years, business has taught us that we don't need, all that brick and mortar and that kind of thing to pay for. And it's just a better fit for our team. It also gave the people on the team, the agents on the team, to earn income in other places than just selling real estate. So it was important for them and important for me to have them have something more down the road. Long term, correct? Yeah. So that was a big reason. Well, obviously, you looked into it, and I've spoke with Brent and many other people that have joined it. And I've been in it for a long time, so I did a lot of research on it for sure.
You've only been in real estate a couple of days, right? What, 34?
35 years now. Yeah. I started when I was 8, so.
All right, that's good. Great.
But no, it's been a great transition. The transaction coordinators love it. It's very, very user friendly, all the systems and everything. And it's been a great transition for us. We absolutely love it there. So.
Chris, when you started your family had some real estate background, right? Your father, I think, was in real estate. Do I remember that correctly? So like, what got you going into real estate? What was like, okay, I got in, and now like, how do you grow to such $85 million? Obviously with great coaching, partnering with great people like Lee but how did you really get your momentum?
It just steps all the way along and just learning it. And, you don't start out with 12 or 26 people all at once. You've got to build that as you go and build it correctly, and that's an important thing as far as director of operations and agents, buyer agents, listing agents, transaction coordination, marketing. All those things are going to come into play there. So you got to kind of make sure you do that very strategically. And like Lee said, my team wasn't real big. I've always had assistants or maybe a buyer's agent or something like that.
Sure.
I never had a large team. And then in working with Lee, we were able to build that. And we were on our way a little bit before that, but I was at a point with my coaching that I believe I plateaued, and I needed somebody to take me to that next level, and he was the guy. So.
Were you, when you were basically going through the building, what was your fundamental? Was it like I heard you guys do St. Jude, the charitable piece, mostly relationships, like through your, I know you love to hunt, was it through like the relationships in the community, or was it more prospecting? What was your focus, and how did you actually start building your client relationships?
Belly to belly back in those days. There wasn't no texting or like that, but I had a new construction. I had a couple of different builders. One builder I built over 1,000 homes with.
Wow.
And a lot of open houses, a lot of weekends and things like that. There, back then, it was a lot of paper advertising. There was no such thing as social media, so a lot different than today's market. But that's how I did that. I had a very good builder, and I suppose about 12 years ago, I switched to another builder who happens to be my brother, and we've been with him ever since, and it's going pretty good. Yeah, but I always have been involved in new construction and commercial real estate as well.
I was talking to Brent last night, and he had a guy on the call with me, and we were just having a conversation about like leads and agents and building their business. And I think you're right. Like it really still, I don't think, even though like all the technologies come in, I think it really comes down to that face-to-face relational.
Absolutely.
That's where you get the strongest foundation. I know, Lee, you built your business off of that foundational face-to-face, like belly to belly, with old school kind of, you might call it old school, but I really don't. I think it hasn't changed. It's just that we have more platforms to actually market on, where it's cost us less now to be realtors in some respects.
Right. But there's so many technologies. That's the problem. Like that's part of the problem. Like we're going through, I said to my team, I feel like we need to burn everything to the ground and start over sometimes, because you get like to a point, and then we've been at a sticking point now, kind of like where Chris was talking about. And then part of it is like there are 6 inches ear to ear what we think's capable. So then you got to start searching in other directions, and you have more conversations, and where do things go? So I think that part of it's that. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they were talking about so much of the iBuyer, and they're like, all right, well, what do we think that's going to absorb? And right now it's 2-3%. It's probably going to be around 5%. So is it worth worrying about? Yes and no. 5% across the board, not the end of the world. But it comes back. This is a relationship business. You don't if you think you can build it all over the internet, that's not possible. You just can't. You have to get. I said my agents all the time, get belly to belly. The more belly to belly that you can get, not because now we can be eye to eye, on something like this and so forth. But you need to be belly to belly, and when you are, you're building that deeper relationship. I'm leaving in about 20 minutes to go. We're doing a brewery event for our top 50 clients. So we'll invite each of my agents. I said, bring 10 of them or so there. Go have a good time. It's not about, we're not selling shit. We're just about relationship. Right. See how everybody's doing. COVID's been, the ramp up. Your husband's dealing with it. My son has it. So many people are affected by it now. So you get the mental strain. So again, it comes back to relationship of being there and just being supportive to those people in your community that you like already. They know you, like you, and trust you, and they
Right.
want to be with you. So build that relationship deeper, see how they're doing. And especially, when you look back, it's been a year and a half, COVID's been going on. What are you doing to stay in contact with those clients and make
Right.
sure you have a plan? If not, create one. And that's, we call ours top 50. So who are those 50 clients that more than likely is going to refer you business, and just work on that. And then we should have the same thing for our business, for agent to agent, as we're building through EXP. Who are the people you need to talk to? Who do you need to build your relationship? And then keep moving forward. Don't forget who they are. So you use some kind of CRM, use it to build, but you have to have a plan rather than just willy-nilly. When you don't have a plan, that's when things start going sideways. I mean, Chris had a plan of where, he knew where he wanted to go, when we would sit and meet, where do you want to be 5 years from now?
Right.
I just had a discussion with a 24-year-old yesterday. I came in the interview. I knew her mom and so forth. And we were talking about it, and I said, where do you want to be? Because she started her first job. She doesn't really love it. I was like, where do you want to be 5 years from now? And she said, nobody's ever asked me that. I'm like, she finished college and all that. I'm like, shit, now you've invested. She went to San Diego State. So I'm sure it wasn't a cheap school. I don't know how much debt there was there for school debt. But I'm like, nobody's asked you all this while of where you want to be and what are you going, what are you leading towards? Otherwise, you get in to the airport, you say, I'll take a ticket anywhere, and that's where you end up. And you're like, holy shit, what happened to me? So Chris had a plan. That's where he's at right now.
It's so true. In that roadmap, you get that destination of this is what I want for my family. This is what I want for my business. This is what I want for myself personally. Let's not leave ourselves out of that equation, because at what cost personally, unless we're making those right strategic, small incremental changes in our business, or if we're not taking the time to really to pay attention to your point, Lee. I know that you're really big on, that direction and trajectory and helping every agent see their path, not just Lee's path. It's all of us, every agent on your team, every agent you're in business with, you're always looking at what is your path, and are you going to hit your goals, and how are you going to hit it? And Chris, your team too. I mean, I watch your group. What a great camaraderie both of your teams have. I loved when we were in Dallas together, and we had so much fun, right?
Yeah.
And to see, isn't it crazy that now Lee Tessier's team and Chris Fritch's team and we're all hanging out together, and we're in 3 different states,
right?
And we're all and the energy level, and seeing their eyes light up with the ahas of what they're doing, what we're doing as a group is amazing.
Yeah.
It helps to see that vision, because I'm bringing that up because with Lee's point of where are you going to be? Are you taking a ticket to anywhere? And unless your agents are seeing what they're a part of and what the opportunity is, with their clients and with EXP as far as the attraction side, now they can now you can help them really guide them into a good vision. And the conversations I've had since the event with each of your agents together, it's amazing. It's fun to watch. Heather, and I love her, and her seeing her have an opportunity beyond just transactional opportunity. And she's already a great agent as it is, and then you add that component to it. Now she's unstoppable, and that's what this is about, right?
Yep, absolutely. It's a lot of fun down there. Great.
Well, I think everybody gets to let their hair down and have fun together. I think of the night where they had the concert. That was good. Everybody had a great time. Mm-hmm. It was just all right, just having fun together, and you just, again, building relationships. Amazing where things go and the friendships that you form. So the collaboration is what I've really enjoyed through the Change EXP, because when you're in your little bubble and you we had our brokerage, this is great, nothing's wrong, but then now it just opens up to more relationships, more conversations, and then it's again building business for long term. I've seen Chuck Fazio's live Facebook post the other day, and where he was health wise, and he's all right, and he's still preaching EXP. So I just thought it was funny. I was all right, here he's got oxygen and everything else, and he's still EXP. Blah, blah, blah. I thought it was here it's ingrained in him of what he's and he's I'm on a mission more than ever. Now I don't know how close to death he was, but he wasn't doing well, right? Mm-hmm. And to where he is now. So I just think that was kind of interesting of just mindset and where do you want to go, what do you want to take for your life. So. A lot of the conversation that me and Chris have had on a personal basis has been that, and then we want more for our teams. That came from conversation that we've all had, right? We always want more for long-term wealth. They don't always know that they want it, but we need to make sure that they're setting themselves up for success because they're not missing 5 cents out of, or $5 out of every 100 on a commission. Like put that in and you start seeing that build up pretty quickly.
Yeah, totally.
Too, so
Lee, like, Chris, what was your, like, from when you're in Dallas, what do you think was like your agents? Like, I know that Lee and I came to Minnesota and we got to meet with them, but what do you think was the big, like, going to the event, what was their big, like, takeaway that you saw as a leader? What did you see that was a value for them? What was your biggest, as far as like?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was the realization that you don't have a ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
You can break through those ceilings and just listen to the speakers. And of course, the last one, Tony Robbins, really, stresses that. But I think they all did, and I think they all had an idea where people were real about their journey and real estate and how this all happened. And there's some amazing stories there that I think they really got a lot out of. And we're really impressed with a lot of the people in the organization, along with Tony. But and I think that just meeting Glenn and hanging out with him and Glenn Sanford and that was fun for him as well. So
taking pictures at the bar with him and stuff.
Yeah.
1:30 in the morning.
Founders like in the hallways and in the restaurant with us, and so approachable, and he's an introvert naturally, so I think it's interesting.
Don't see that very often with those guys. Yeah, so it's
I love that.
Yeah, so I think breaking that and really crushing that ceiling, not just dipping your finger through it, and you just got to smash it and keep going. And there's so many people that are doing so many great things right now. It's amazing.
It is. Yeah. I think go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, with the ceiling thing, you're so right. It's not putting your finger through the ceiling a little bit and kind of getting there. It's like you can like literally push through several ceilings in one small swoop, rather than be like this slow kind of a grind of like, maybe I might get there and I might hit this level. At that time, am I going to be too tired to keep going, or to inspire, or to bring people along with me?
Right.
I think that that's a great point of that you're not just like hitting the ceiling, you're smashing through a ceiling, and maybe you might go 4 floors,
Mm-hmm.
So you got that elevator pulling you up instead of you climbing the ladder with your own weight, and maybe you don't have enough muscle strength to do it, or the tools, Now you got like the tools are on the elevator and you're going up the elevator a lot faster.
Right.
That once they get a couple people in their group, so agents on your team, and then they start getting some residual, like a 200 or 300, like Vanessa the other day said, hey, look, it's a start, $350. She was like, I didn't have it. KW, my checks were so small. At least I got a $350 deposit, and then it started growing. Then it hit 600. She's like, wow, look, it's like, yeah, it's exciting for them rather than like, hey, we all have to do our grind. I think of Chris for the last 35 years. It was hard work. It wasn't like, hey, anything was just given to you and like, oh, this is just easy. You just went, get up to 700,000. Usually, like the first, when you're going and growing, like the first 100 units is the hardest to get through. Went to the second 100 is easier, and then you get to the third 100, and then fourth 100, and so forth. And then sometimes you get stuck there. But it's like, but the first 100 is hard to get through. And then once you break it, because you start building your foundation, so many people want to put the roof on and sides and all that. And like, you need a good foundation first before you go anywhere up.
Yeah.
And that's what Chris built over those years, was building that great foundation. And sometimes it's like, all right, hey, I got to support this side before I go up any farther. And that's what we have to do. I mean, like I was talking about burning the house down, like same thing. It's like, hey, this side's a little weak. Now we got to build it back up, get it good before we can put another story on.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true, because sometimes we get ourselves caught into things we don't really need to be caught up into time-wise, right? Where we're only giving this much effort over here, where we could put more effort in different spots, or whether it's like the way we're doing something, it's just like it's kind of working, but if we just put all our effort over here, maybe we'd be better off, or whatever.
Then the conversation, like I think of the conversation me and Chris have had of like people's strengths and weaknesses. So let's feed into their strengths and see what they're really good at, because most of the time it's not what we're good at. So let's give and be okay with handing that off, and just check on it at first. And once you know that it's good, then you don't have to check on it anymore. But don't just hand it off and think it's all good. You still have to check it in the beginning. Or a lot of people are like, they're either hold on to it too tight, or they're like, I'm like, no, you can't just throw it and not ever look at it again. You can't be a seagull, like a seagull approach type.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, stop and drop and like move on. You have to go inspect what you're expecting, and then as long as it's good, go on to the next thing and build from there. But make sure you're looking at people's strengths and weaknesses and feed into their strengths.
Yeah, people have more energy when they live in their strengths anyways. So, Chris, with your group, your team, when everybody came back, was there anything like particular that you guys did as a group that you're like, this is how our path, or was there anything you took away that you're implementing or working as a group together?
Yeah, it's just some more systems as far as recruitment goes and things like that. Getting that CRM, like Lee talked about, getting that up and running for the agents, and just to be that that backup for them that they need for any part of the recruitment process or anything like that. So
yeah, it's fun to watch your organization grow, and like Rory's now part of your group, and and I know the conversations we're having with some of the agents in your area. It's exciting to see that that they're really grasping hold of it, and how to do those three-way calls, and and not afraid to reach out and get the support they need, because they can now have a familiarity with Lee and I and other people in the group.
Yeah,
that Facebook
big help there too. Thank you for that.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny how like things start linking back, because I think of Roxy from like 2010 when we had conversation with her, and then here she would message. In fact, she messaged. I don't know. I guess we posted something that we were at your golf tournament, and she's like, "Oh, I wish I would have known you were up here." And I didn't think anything about it. I'm like, "Shit, I forgot she's even in Michigan." And then she messaged that morning, and I was like, "Oh, good. This is perfect, because it would fall well under you, like that way." But she also had the respect level for you too. Like, hey, he's been in the business for a long time. He has a great reputation, and just a good overall person. Like, and that's what I brought up the St. Jude's thing, because it's not ever about us, right? It's always about what do we do, and how do we support our communities, how do we support our agents, and so forth. But it's and Chris always talks that way too. It's a we thing, never an I thing. Like, I never hear him like, I did this, I did that, I did that. Like, that's not in his vocabulary, which makes him more attractive as a leader, because people are like, wow, he acknowledges me for what I do, and he knows it's a us thing, not, hey, that your name's on the building, you get all the headaches. But part of the headaches is the glory of what you guys have built as a team too.
Yeah.
So it's everybody working together, no I in team. So I think that's such a key.
Yeah.
And you can see the collaboration when all you guys were together, just everybody had a good time. I think of the last night when we were all at the Italian restaurant and having dinner together, unfortunately not in the same rooms, but we had, got to come over and have fun. But you just see how much everybody cares about each other, which goes such a long way. And then everybody wants to see each other build, like, how do they build their line so they can have income that's, that they don't have to keep going to produce. They're going to keep selling real estate, don't get me wrong, but what's the additional income, then the stock and so forth. So all the additional benefits with that.
Yeah.
And then Lee and Miss Little doing their push-up contest.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. I'll drink too many of it, and
that's awesome.
And Jan's like, I'm gonna kick your ass out of it. I'm like, all right.
Challenge.
And then I just learned how to pace her. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go kill myself doing it.
Yeah, I'll pace her.
That's what somebody's like, oh, you're pacing her now. I was like, yeah, I've learned. Like, I'm not going to get my ass kicked by a woman. Sorry.
And she could, right? She very well could.
Oh my God, yeah, exactly. I seen her when we were at Chris's house that time for.
You're like, I know this girl's for real.
Right, I was like, damn, she just planked and push-ups there. So.
Oh yeah,
I love those while she's doing push-ups. The girl's a wow. Yeah. I love her. But
and it's like all building together and having fun. It's because it is that making real estate fun again. I think there's so much truth in that, because we get stagnant in our, what we do.
Our everyday thing. That's awesome. Chris, do you have any last thoughts or words you want to just say or share, or anything at all that you're?
No, just very excited about where this is going, and super happy to be a part of it with my team. I know they all are as well, so it's a great thing.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what this looks like in 5 years for everybody.
Yeah.
Exciting, yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's like, all right, we know where we want to go, and then when you see some of people's numbers up on stage, you're like, all right, I can get there. So just I got anything else, compounding with time and work. we still need that 4-letter word.
Yeah, for sure.
And focus. Depends on what you focus on.
And it's fun watching. It's fun helping everybody else get there together. We all win together. We all, it really does make an impact on everyone's life, and we all get to do it together. It's fun, and we get to do it with some of my favorite people in the world. Like I love Chris, and I love Curly, and everybody we're working together with. So it's awesome.
You brought up impact. So impact worldwide, that's the other big thing is this group is so good, and it's a matter of making use of it, plus all the stuff that you're building forward with the new websites and so forth. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff that's coming down the road, which I don't know if you've talked about any of that yet or how much you've talked about it, but it will be something to look forward for.
Yeah, Lee's laid his eyes on it and sees what we're doing, but it'll be coming very soon. So it's absolutely fine to talk about. I just want to overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
So, but yeah, absolutely, it's exciting. But Chris, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I spend more time with you than my family. You two.
Well, it's funny because I'm always like, yeah, when you call or I call you, then Tracy's always like, "Oh, is that Shelley? Let me talk to her." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "All right, well, so much for my conversation of what I needed to say." And sometimes I'll have to just text. So,
yeah.
But
that's what I love about it. It's like our families are together. We're all running together. We're all working to build something for all of us together. And, and it's cool that we have, like before, one with spouses really involved and they're really, there's like, they come and be involved, but then now it's like a whole nother level of like, Tracy's like, I love Kevin, like, I love that we have that type of relationship. And, and it was like, I actually, when we were in Dallas, I was like, I wanted to spend more time with you. I think I was like, I kind of missed like, I didn't get to spend that much time with you, Lee. And I was like, I didn't get to spend much time with him or Chris, even though we went to dinners and stuff. We were just busy.
Yeah, it was funny because John Padone and then you, and I was like, all right, John got COVID, then Kevin got COVID. I'm like, all right, maybe it was a good thing, that I didn't get it. So.
Yeah, with John that much, but I mean, I think a lot of it was there. It was going around locally here too, like even in our local market. It was everywhere.
Unfortunately, it's like wildfire right now.
I don't think that it's really. I think it could be anywhere. Honestly, we could pick it up. So, but you guys, think of the world of both of you, and thanks for taking some time this afternoon to share what you're doing in your business and what we're doing together, and how your team was impacted by going to the business, going to the event, and I love the synergy that came off of that. So. It's awesome. All right. Have a great afternoon. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Yep. See ya.
See you later. Bye.